Now let's understand what we was discussing in last class. We was discussing about the networking thing. What is VPC, virtual private cloud, then subnet. Then we discussed about the net. Then we discussed about the net, why we are using net. Then we discussed about the NaCl knuckle here. This is called knuckle as well. You can call it NaCl as well. Then apart from this, what we discussed, then we discussed about the security group, why we are using security group, VPC sharing, why we are using VPC sharing. Then these things we discussed here, and we created resources by using these things. Now let's get into the storage services. What storage services we have here in our, if I'm talking about storage services, what storage services have in our AWS environment. So we are going to discuss about those in our this session here. Coming to storage here, of course, why we require storage, you can understand here why we require storage here. Now let's understand type of storage. How many type of storage we have? Types of storage here. So how many type of storages we have in our AWS environment? First type of storage we have is S3. So first type of storage we have is S3. Actually, this is called simple storage services. What we have here? We have simple storage services. We have simple storage services. This is called S3 here, simple storage services. This is our first type of storage. And second type of storage is EFS, Elastic File Storage System. So this is our second type of storage which we are going to use here. This is my second type of storage. And coming to a third type of storage, what we have EBS, Elastic Block Storage. This is my third type of storage. This is called Elastic Block Storage. And coming to a fourth type, actually we are using, coming to a fourth type here, we are using family of Snowball here. What we are using? We are using family of Snowball here. This is fourth type of storage what we have. Let me consider this is a Snowball family here we are using. Now let's dig into those, why we are using this type of storage here. What are the use cases of this type of storage here? Coming to a simple storage here, S3 here, this is object type of storage. So what is this is called object type of storage. We need to understand what do you mean by object. What do you mean by object here? This, if I'm talking about simple type of S3 here, simple type of simple storage services here, what this is object type of storage. And what I meant by object here, object can be your images, it can be your file, it can be your videos, or it can be any type of storage you can use here. Means any type of data you can transfer here in your simple storage services. You can consider this like a trash for your storage services. Means any type of data you can throw here. And why we are using this here, why we are going to use this simple storage here, we are going to use this storage for the low budget storage, low costing. This type of storage we are going to use for low pricing, low costing, because cost of storage services is very, very low here. Means S3 is very low budget storage here. Because of that reason, we are going to use this storage. And other use is we can use any type of, what we can do, we can use any type of data here to transfer, whether that is image, file, videos, or other things. This is what. But one thing, this is a low budget storage. As I'm talking, this is a low budget storage. But if you are looking for infrequent data type, infrequent access of data type, means suppose you are saving some image here. I'm just taking example. You are saving some image here in our S3. Now, how it will be stored? First of all, let's understand how it will be stored. There will be a container here. There will be a container here. Within the container, there will be a container here. Within the container, there will be a bucket here. Within the bucket, there will be a container here, here it will be stored. What this is, within the bucket you are going to store here. What there will be a bucket here, within the bucket it will be stored. So within the bucket it will be stored. So this is what you are going to get from here. So there is a bucket here, within the bucket you are going to store here. What you are going to store? You are going to store the object I am talking. But as I said, this is a low budget storage here if you are looking for infrequent data type. Infrequent means whatever the data we have inside here, you don't want frequent access of that data. If you are accessing that, suppose you are storing image here, and if you are accessing that every day, in that case, it will become very expensive. So this is simple type of S3 simple storage services. So object type of storage, images, file, videos, consider like a trash. For the storage services, we are going to keep, and we are going to keep the data in the form of what we are going to do. We are going to create the bucket. Within the bucket, we are going to keep the object. Now one more thing here, how you are going to access the object. Now how you will access the object here. Object means storage actually. What your storage? Sport, what did actually what Mr. TJ did? TJ said, okay. TJ said, I'm saving some object here. I'm saving some data. I'm talking about data means it will not be a small data. Of course, it will be a huge data in TVs, petabyte, gigabyte, terabyte. So it will be very huge sum of data. So now if you stored something here, where into your S3. So what you'll say? Okay, give me the access. How will give the access to the end user? How will give you access to the as a client? How will give access to end user here? So means what you will do. Otherwise, one thing here you need to give him access of account. First thing, what you need to give him? You need to give him access of account. That is not a proper process. Why? Because it will not be only S3 you are going to create there. It will be many processes which will be created by you there. So what you will do? That person will access, that person can access those things here. Very dangerous process. So not to have this type of thing here, what we have in S3 here, we have unique DNS here, domain name server here. DNS will be assigned to this object. So what I'll do, I'll share this DNS here. From this DNS, my end client will be able to access the information or data. This is what we need to understand. Domain name will be given to the end user, end client. So from this, end user will be able to connect to my this thing here. So this is what we need to understand here. DNS domain name will be assigned to us. Here we can restrict here now. One more thing here now. We are giving this to the client actually. So then there also we need to be careful. We need to assign what we need to do. We need to give him a permission. We can give him assign the permission according to his role. Like what sort of permission, read, write, or anything. Just to read, just to write, or just to delete. Or like this, we can give him customized information to access the data. This we need to understand here. I think clear here, very simple way I'm showing. Then second one here is elastic file storage system. Of course, you can understand from the name. What type of data will be stored here? Here, file type of data will be stored. If I'm talking about this type of storage here, we are going to use this for the file type of data. Here, file type of data will be stored here. But one advantage of this one here, why we are using, we can use this type of storage as well. We can use S3 for file type of data here. But this is specifically built. This elastic file storage system is specifically built for this thing here. So elastic file storage system. Now, what is the use case of this there? Cross-region replication here. What is cross-region replication here? What we did here? Now, suppose we created elastic file storage system. What we did, we created elastic file storage system. As we created elastic file storage system for Mumbai region. What we did, we created elastic file storage system for the Mumbai region. As we created elastic file system for the Mumbai region here, of course, within the Mumbai region, how many zones we have? 3 zones we have. This is my zone 1, AP South 1A, AP South 1B, AP South 1C. These are my three zones. Within the region, there is a three zone here. So automatically your file, whatever the file type of data you are saving here, automatically that will be replicated between three zones here. Automatically that will be replicated between three different zones here. So one zone, another zones, third zones. So what is the use case of this one? Availability of your data, information. Suppose this zone is down, there is some problem here, disasters here, there is problem with this zone here. So power down, anything can happen to this. So your information will be here in these two zones. If your one other zone is down, you will have information in another zone. So availability of your SLA of your information will be 99.99999%. So you will not lose your information. Of course, if your region is down, means in that case, you will have a problem because replication is only region base. So this is what we can understand here. This is a file type of data. File type of data means here we are going to store the file type of data, of course, but what is the advantage of file type of data here? Geo replication, region replication here will be done automatically or automatically. See, in this case, whenever you are going to replicate the, if you want to replicate your object, whatever the object we have, we can replicate the object, but negative thing is, so we have to create by ourselves here. These things we have to create by ourselves. Suppose we want to do something like this, so we have to do by ourselves, we have to customize by ourselves, but here it will be done automatically with the same costing. So this is the advantage of using file type of data. Coming to elastic block storage, you can understand the name like a block. What is there will be a block of data. Actually data will be in the form of block. You can consider like a hard disk here, like a hard disk type of storage here. Block means hard disk type of storage. But where we are going to use this elastic block storage, we are going to use this elastic block storage in the server, in the servers. And what I mean by server, EC2. Now consider one thing here. Whenever I'm talking about server, of course, end of the server will be connected to the application directly. It will be processing, it will be running here. Where? End of the, this will be running to the end application, will be running on where? Server. Of course, I'm talking about banking applications. I'm talking about any application, banking application, non-banking application, any kind of application. They will be running on where? They will be running on the server. If they are running on the server, now what it will do? Of course, this application will produce data. Now this data will be stored where? This data will be stored in the blocks, of course, in the hard disk type, you can say. Here, it will be stored in the here. Where it will be stored here? Means if this application is producing logs, data, continuously it's producing, because this is in a production server. What I meant by production server? End user, it is accessible to the end user, and end user is doing continuously something here. Suppose banking application here, many users are coming here in this application. They are making the changes here. They are going to their account. They are making money transaction. They are editing their budgets. They are buying something, shopping something. So each detail has to be saved where? Into your server. So if the save is this, if this change is not getting saved here, what will happen? Today you have $1 million. Tomorrow you will have same $1 million, because that change is not happening here. Or today you have $1 million, tomorrow that might be zero without going to the bank. That thing can be there if your data is not getting saved, application data. Now where we are going to save your end data? Into EBS, elastic block storage, into the server. But one thing here, processing speed of this data type has to be very high. Because why it will be very high? Processing speed of this data type will be very high, because this end of this will be attached to your application here. Because of that reason, processing of this elastic block storage has to be very high. This is what. And geo application, this is not possible here in this elastic block storage. It will be created here. So it will be created. Where we are going to use this mainly? We are going to use this mainly into our servers, elastic block storage, because of this, because of its processing speed. Its processing speed is very high. Then coming to a snowball family here. What coming to a snowball family. If I'm talking about snowball family here, snowball family consists of three things here. Snowball family we are going to use for the migration purpose. If you are going to migrate the data, but one condition here. What is the one condition here? Your data has to be more than 500 terabyte. In this case, what you can do, in this case, you can order the snowball. Snowball means you can understand like 500 terabyte means this will be a huge hard disk. What will be? This will be hard disk here, which will be attached to you. So what is this? This will be hard disk here, which will be attached to you. Size of this hard disk will be more than, it has to be more than 500 terabyte. So this is what it has to be more than 500 terabyte here. This is what snowball family is. Now see where we are going to use migration purpose. Suppose I'm taking example of Google. Google have their own cloud actually. I'm taking example of IBM also have their own, but let's take example of IBM. What IBM planned? IBM planned they want to migrate the data. They want to go, they want to do the migration. Migration means on premises to the cloud is called migration. On premises.
The seat location. New York.
On premises to the cloud. If I'm saying on premises to the cloud, that is called migration here. If you're looking for migration here, what migration? Migration of your data. What data? If your data is more than 500 terabyte. If your data is more than 500 terabyte, in this case, what you are going to use? You are going to use the snowball family. What you are going to use? You are going to use the snowball family. If I'm talking about snowball family will have a snow cone, snowball, and snow carrier. Now what will be this? A snowball. Now three things will be there. Snow cone. What snow cone will be? Cone will be to transfer the data. If I'm talking about snowball here, of course you can understand snowball will be something like hard disk here 500 terabyte. Above 500 terabyte. Size will be above 500 terabyte. Below that it will not be there. Then afterward there will be a carrier here. Carrier here means for the transportation. There will be a carrier here for the transportation. If you want to use the carrier for, this is the carrier for the transportation here. Now what will be there? Cone will transfer. Now see what example we are taking. We are taking example of IBM. What IBM planned? IBM want to transfer their data into AWS cloud. What will be the case? Of course, IBM will order this snowball here. This data will be transferred to the through the snow cone where to the on-premises. Data will be transferred on-premises. Then afterward, it will be pushed to the wall. Of course, with the help of cone, data will be transferred and it will be transferred to the carrier here. So this we need to understand here. Let me give you people summary one more time here. If you want to take a screenshot of this one, please take a screenshot of this one. If I'm talking about storage services, in AWS, we have a storage services. How many type of storage we have? 4 type. S3, simple storage services, elastic price storage system, and elastic block storage system, and snowball family we have. Coming to S3, simple storage services here. This is object type of storage we are going to use for any type of object. So you can consider like a trash, as I said, for your data transfer. Low budget storage, if you are looking for infrequent data type. If you are looking for frequent data type, it will be expensive here. What do you mean by infrequent data type? Means frequently you don't want to access that data. Every day you don't want to access that data. Access cost is here. That's why. And for this object, one DNS will be assigned, URL will be assigned, and to this URL you can access the object here. So what will be the use case of this one? You can give this to the end client. Elastic file storage system, you can store file type of data here. Coming to a file type of data here, then geo replication will be done automatically here for this elastic file storage system. So means availability of your information will be 100% here. SLA, service level agreement. SLA means service level agreement is 99.99% of your data delivery here to the end user. Then elastic block storage here, EBS, elastic block storage. Of course, block type of storage will be, but end of this will be connected with our server. Of course, elastic block storage will be connected with our server. Processing speed of this data has to be very high because data has to be delivered immediately within a fraction of time. All right. So another coming to a snowball family. Of course, we are going to use this for the migration purpose. Size has to be more than 500 terabyte. If any organization, suppose we are taking example of IBM. IBM is looking for data migration in the future. So in this case, what we are going to use? In this case, we are going to use the family called snowball family. And of course, three things: con, ball, and carrier. Con will transfer the data where into the ball, snowball, and snowball will carry by carrier to the respective destination, and of course your data will be pushed to the cloud environment. So any question here before getting into the practical here? This is what we need to understand from the storage services. You can take a screenshot. And any question, if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we are going to the practical part now. Let's create these things here. So we'll understand how to create these things. So shall I go to the practical part?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into this thing here. So you need to have AWS account here, as I said, so you can practice, because DevOps and cloud is all about practice. If you practice means your concept will be very, very strong. See guys, there is a lot of opportunity in DevOps and cloud environment. Very one of the highly paid job in the world. So, but if you are practicing means your concept will be strong. So like this AWS console home here, what we are going to do? We are going to understand now. See, under services here, we can understand here. Under services, what you can do, we can get into the storage services. If you go to the storage services here, you'll see these are the things here we have. What we are going to understand first, we are going to understand about the S3. I forgot to add one more thing here. There is one more type of storage here which we are going to use. This is called S3 Glacier here. What we need to understand, we need to understand about the Glacier here. So this is one type of storage here. Actually, so it's a Glacier who is providing storage for longer duration of time. Means object type of storage who is providing, Glacier is providing here. Now what this Glacier will do, he will store low volume. So what is this S3 Glacier? This is called S3 Glacier. This used to be separate before. Now this is assembled together with S3. Now what this S3 Glacier will do, if you are looking for low budget storage for longer duration of time, you can use the Glacier here. So you can use the Glacier here. And in this Glacier, what you will do, you can save this object for the longer duration of time here. But as again, infrequent data set type, infrequent data access here. So this is what we need to understand from. So what I'm doing, I'm going to the S3. Let's mess up with the S3 here. Now what is this? Scalable storage in the cloud here. So you can, and another thing here, if you want to read out anything about these things here, don't forget to go here. Just click on this here, documentation part. You will get each and every documentation of cloud here into doc.aws.amazon.com. Here you'll see a S3 here, simple storage services. Whatever you want to read, you can read about S3 here. What you can do, you can read about S3 here. Each and every documentation are here for the S3 here. This is S3. Now this is Amazon S3 Glacier, and this is S3 here. User guide. If you want to get into, you can download this one as well. PDF or HTML. You can download this one as well. So what is S3 here? End-to-end information about S3 is. So whatever information I gave you people from there. So you need to understand from here. So this we need to understand from here. Now let's understand how to create. What we need to create, we need to create a bucket here. Now this bucket, now one more thing here. Now this is the name. Now which region you are hosting? This region I am hosting. Which region? AWS Mumbai region, AP South 1A here. Here I am hosting in this region. But one more thing here, this bucket name is global namespace. Global namespace means the name of this bucket has to be unique globally. Globally means there should not be any name in these regions. Of course, somebody created bucket here, hundreds of thousands of million of buckets are here. People created for their data transfer. So those name, so whatever the name we have, existing name we have, that name should not match with this bucket. Suppose if I am writing my bucket here, and that name has to be alphanumeric here, this name will be definitely taken by somebody. So that's this name will be taken by somebody. So what I'm doing, I'm writing a combination of letter plus name here. Or if you're writing hyphen here, it will not take hyphen because it will not take special case letter here. Otherwise number or otherwise this. If you have existing bucket, you can attach existing bucket with this bucket here. Advantage. Suppose you have existing data here. What you'll do? You'll do data here. And then ACL here, access control list. ACL is access control list here, means ownership here. Ownership means now if I am creating a bucket, means if I am creating a bucket in this account, of course, this person will be owner. He is owner and he will be able to save the all the information, means he will be able to customize all the information because he is owner. So now suppose you don't want this person who is creating the account, who is creating this object here, who is creating this bucket here, you don't want him to be owner. You want all other users, all other account, whoever is connecting with this one to be owner. In this case, you have to enable the ACLs here, access control list for others. Now, object in this bucket can be owned by other AWS account. Access to this bucket and its object can be specified using ACL. Very dangerous process because you are giving ownership of your object to third person. So means that person will be owner each and every object he can see here. This is what. Then you can block. What you can do here, you can block the public access setting for this bucket here. What you can do, you can block the public access for this here. Right? Suppose you are shipping. Of course, we are talking about data here. If we are talking about data here, we don't want unauthorized person to enter in our data, in our buckets. So what you can do, you can block. But if your data is for public use, in this case, you can unblock here. That is what. But this blocking of public access will be applied to only this. Apply to only this here. What block public access bucket and objects granted through the ACL. Now see what I did here. I granted the ACL for the other class, other account. So what I want to block the object. I don't want them to see the object. So what I'll do, I'll block this. It will be blocked here. It's not like they are owner here. They will be actual, of course, they will be actual owner, but I can block their access as well. That is called sub-blocking here. That will be controlled by whom? This person. Block public access to the bucket and object. What it will be there? Block public access to buckets and object granted through the ACL. This is what. Block public access bucket and object granted to new public bucket and access point policy. There are access point policy. According to that, we can provide the access also. This is what we can do here. Or access point policies we can define here. So this is how, means what it will block these many things for the end user. Like this customization you can do for your data. Bucket versioning here. What I meant by versioning here, you need to understand what I meant by versioning here. Versioning means slight modification into previous build. I have a previous build, means I have a here. Versioning means what bucket versioning will be. Bucket version will be how many people we are? 5 people we are. This is a bucket here. This is a bucket here. This is one common bucket. We are 5 people. What we will do, we are allowed to make changes into this bucket, and that changes, whatever the changes you are making into this bucket. Suppose Mr. TJ Daniel or Anita, you people are making some changes here. If you people are making some changes here, means that changes will be or saved here. Whatever the changes you are making, means you are allowed to make changes here. That is called versioning here in our S3. S3 versioning, if you are enabling here, means anyone here, whoever have access, he is allowed to make the changes, and that changes version will be saved here in our S3. That is called versioning here. Slight modification into the previous build. Whatever the modification you made into previous build, that will be saved. So that will be saved here. Tag, if you want to rename. Encryption, of course, why we are using encryption, we are talking about data. So that data has to be encrypted here. We are storing something. So if we are storing something means that has to be encrypted. So how it's going to use the encryption method? This is SSC, SC3, SSC KMES here, customer management key here, key management service keys here, DSSC KMS here. These are the key type actually. Encryption type we are going to use. Encryption is not our topic, guys. Please understand. As a DevOps or cloud engineer, you don't need to understand about the encryptions, how they are doing encryption in the backend. But you need to understand that data will be, information will be encrypted bucket. Now somebody stole your bucket tomorrow. So we will not be able to see this thing here. Why? Because this is encrypted here. Until and unless you don't have decryption here, until and unless you don't have decryption here, you will not be able to see. This is what a default encryption thing you are going to get out of this. Bucket key here, of course, we are going to generate the we are going to generate the bucket key. We are going to generate the bucket key for this here. If you want to go to the advanced setting, you can go to the advanced setting. Object lock here. Why we are using object lock here? See, store object using a write once, read many. What it will do whenever you are storing the object, where you are storing the object, we are storing the object within the bucket. We are creating the bucket. We are not storing object as of now. We are creating a bucket, and where what in this bucket what will be there? In this bucket your object will be stored. How? In this mode, write once, read many times. So more to help you prevent object from being deleted or overwritten by fixed amount of time or indefinitely here. So it will help you to not delete the object or overwritten. Overwritten means versioning here. People are not allowed to make a versioning without any proper authentication here. Object lock work on a version bucket here. Version bucket means if you have what you have, if you have object lock here means what you'll do, you'll put object lock here. Other person is not allowed to do bucket versioning. He will not be able to change your version of bucket here in this case. Let's create a bucket here. What I'm doing, I'm creating a bucket here now. Now when it will be created, you can understand from here. Let's go inside the bucket. If I'll go inside the bucket, my bucket is empty. I have not stored any object here. First, what I did, I created a bucket here. Now what I'm doing here, now let's upload something. You can, as I said, you can upload object here. You can upload the movie. You can upload any type of thing. What I'm doing here, I'm adding, not adding the folder. Just a second, I'm not adding a folder. Let's add some file here so you can understand. So what I'm doing here, I'm adding some file here, some sort of file here. So I am adding some file here. What sorts of file here? This file I'm adding here. So what I'm doing, I'm adding this file here. Let's understand. Or this file I'm adding. If I click on open here, I will be able to see now. See, this is a file here which I added. Like this. This is what object here. Like this, you can add object in your this. Adding object is very, very, very easy here now. Like this. What you can do, you can add the object here now. See, add the file or folder want to use the S3 to target download more than how many GB here to upload a larger than 160 gig. Use the ACL CLI, AWS SDK and Amazon S3 REST API, but up to 160 GB. What we can do, we can upload like this. The way I uploaded here, it will be uploaded like this here. Very easy to upload. It's not complicated to upload here. Permission we can change, property we can change here for this object. Like this object will be uploaded here straight away. Now see, this is succeeded here. Very simple here, not complicated. If I click on this one here, I will be able to see the configuration. What I said, object URL will be assigned. Now see what I said. Mr. TJS, I want to save some data. What I'll do, I'll share this object to him. Of course, he will be able to see his information. What he will be able to do, he will be able to see his information. How I'll do open here. I will be able to see what is written in this here. So I will be able to see what is written in this here. Like this, what I can do, like this I can do here. This is what I can do here. If I'll go to, let me go to the object. This is my object here. Please understand. This is not a flyer. This is my object here. This is called object here. This is S3 URI, Amazon ARN here. This is ARN here, Amazon Resource Manager. So this is Amazon resource name here, not manager. So entity tag here like this. If you want to change the permission type, you can change the permission type from here like this. Grantee permission can change like this here. If I have this permission type, we can change. This is the permission type. Something you can change, something you cannot change. Here you cannot change. You have to change from the bucket. We are inside the object here now. Please understand. We are inside the bucket here. We cannot change ACL from here. From where we can change? We can change the ACL from here. Suppose you want to change the ACL here now. What do you need to do? This is my bucket here, right? As this is my bucket here, if I'll go to the permissions here, I will be able to see from here. So I will be able to change. Now see, if you want to change the block all the access here, you can add it here. You can grant the public access also, but he'll give you a warning here. Save changes here. What he'll do, he'll give you warning here. Now see, updating the block public access setting for this bucket will affect the block object within the block. This may, so your bucket, what bucket will become? Bucket will become public here. In this case, what you can do here, you need to be double sure whether you want to alter this or not. He'll ask you to alter like this. So means it will not be altered from the buckets. Your access control list will be bucket. It will be controlled from your this like this. If you go to the permission version, you'll see something else like this. You can change these things here. Then afterward versioning here, as I said, versioning is now coming to a bucket versioning here. Bucket versioning is enable. Enable means it's very important here. Bucket versioning is very, very important here. Why this is important here? Because we people are going to work in a team, and if we are going to work in a team, of course we need to alter our data information here all the time. If we are altering or information, adding your information here, so this has to be enabled. Bucket versioning has to be enabled, then only he can make the changes here into this, and that changes will be saved here. Or if you are not making the change here, how it will be? Now what we can do here, we can download, we can do open here object action. Otherwise we can do object action here, download as, share with, calculate total size, copy, move, query, rename object here, edit storage class. So like this metadata tag, these many things we can perform here. For what? For the object. I'm not talking for the bucket. This is for the object. This object action can be performed from here as per our requirement here. So what is the takeaway from here? Takeaway from here is object here. We are going to create one bucket, and that bucket, see now, say here, cross region replication here. If I'm talking, this is saved only in Mumbai region, AP South 1A, only in one zone, not in all three zones. It's saved in only one zone in this, right? Within the object, we are going to create the bucket. Within the bucket, we are going to create the object, and what we can do, maximum up to 160 GB size we can save manually, and otherwise we can use SLI, command line, CLI command line, or other method to transfer the data. We can alter many things here. We can change the properties, change the storage, permission, matrix. So I want you people to dig into this one here. We can change the management thing here, like this replication rule here. Now see, create the replication rule where we want to create the like this. There are many information related to object we can do here. Now if you want to remove, now what is the other thing here? If you want to remove the bucket, suppose I want to delete the bucket, is it possible to delete the bucket? Now let's see what he's saying. This bucket is not empty. If you want to delete the bucket, you need to delete what? You need to delete the object here. So what you need to do, you need to delete the objects. First, you need to delete whatever the object is inside. So you need to delete that bucket. If I do a control C here, I will be able to delete the object like this. Done. I can delete the bucket now. What I can do here, delete bucket configuration here now. So what I will be able to delete the bucket configuration like here. So delete the bucket configuration. Of course, I will be able to delete it. So this is what we need to understand about the bucket here. What is a bucket here? Then coming to a EFS, Elastic File Storage System. Then we need to understand about the Elastic File Storage, EFS, File Storage System. What we are going to do here, of course, we are going to create the file system. If we are creating the file system, what we are doing here, name is optional here. This is my file system here. What we are doing, we are doing file system here. See, this file we are going to replicate it into where? We created one VPC, which VPC you want to create, replicate, which VPC you want to create here. Now see, this file system got created here. If I click on this one here, like this, you can see here what this is my file system here, and automatically now see one more thing here, backup. Of course, automatically there was also backup enabled here also backup optional here. Actually, you can enable or you can disable here, like this. Your size of this is meter size, monitoring here, tag here, file system policy. But what is our thing here? We need to understand our network. Of course, what network? Now we need to understand this thing here. Actually, now see, automatically see, I have taken only one region like Mumbai I have taken, but automatically this will be replicated into three different availability zones, like this: AP South 1A, AP South 1B, AP South 1C here. Automatically this will be replicated between three region here. This is the advantage of using having file system. Of course, cross replication will be done here. Very easy here. File system, of course, you are going to upload the file here. That's it. You are going to attach what? File system here. When you are attaching the file system here, right, hierarchy will be attached like this. Your tree like structure will be attached. Tree like structure will be granted for your this. For the network, we are going to attach this file storage system. Whenever we are going to assign this thing here, we are going to assign these things for the network things. Elastic block storage system, very important here. If I'll go to the EBS here, elastic block storage system, for this I need to go to the EC2. If I'll go to the EC2 here, in EC2, what we are going to do here, I have a server here actually, but let me run this server here. What I have a server here. This is my server here. What I'll do here, I'll start this server here. What I'll do, I'll start this server here. If I'll start this server here, I'm starting this server here. As I'm starting this server here, means if you want to see the storage type here for this server, what storage type we have this for this server here? We have this volume here. Now see what storage services we have here. This is our EBS optimization here. Now see, this is our elastic block storage here. If I go to the volume section here, this is a different thing here now. Now see, this is our elastic block storage. And how many type of? Let's understand here. Create the volume. To the creation, we'll understand here. Create a Amazon EBS volume. What this is EBS volume to attach to any EC2 instance, but in the same availability zones. But and how many type of this we have? This we have according to our speed, processing speed, general purpose, IOPS, SSC1. According to these things we have. What we have? According to this we have here. Now maximum size can be 16,384 gig. Maximum size of this elastic block can be 16,384 gig here. IOPS is 3,000 to 16,000 IOPS here. Input output per second is this one here. Throughput means, what do you mean by throughput? Amount of data delivers in MBs. What amount of data delivered in MBs here? Now see, 125 MB of data will be delivered within 1 second. This is called throughput. Availability zones. Here we can do a customization for availability zone here. Which region we want to host this? Now see, like elastic file storage system, we don't have option to tick all three. We have only option to select only one. Means your block will be replicated only one. Snapshot here. Anyone, what do you mean by snapshot? Anyone have idea what do you mean by snapshot?
Image copy.
Yeah, copy, right? Copy. If you want to create the copy here, you have this option here. Snapshot ID will be generated here. Don't create volume for the snapshot, or otherwise create a volume for your snapshot. Copy. If you want to create the copy here, then it will be copy will be created here, right? So like this. Tag snapshot summary here. Like this, you can create the volume. Your own customized volume you can create here. So what you can do, you can create your own customized volume. And what that volume will be? This volume will be elastic block storage, but and where this will be attached? This has to be attached to the where? To the this here. Now this is what? So now suppose we have this volume here. Now what we can do here? We can Now tick the box. First you need to, if you want to write the name, you can write the name as well, right? Like this, if you see in some volume without name here, this is for what I'm doing here. I'm writing, this is my class volume here. This volume is for class volume here, like this. If you're defining action part here, like this, if you want to create the snapshot, you can create the snapshot after creating as well. Now see, after creating, you can create a snapshot here. If you want to detach the volume, what I meant by detaching the volume here, from where we are detaching this, any idea? From where we are detaching this? Any?
EC2.
Yes, EC2, because this is attached with our EC2, right? If this is attached with this or EC2 here, so means what you can do here, you can detach here. If you want to see end-to-end history here, now see where it's attached. You can see here I00, this is your server EC2. Now see host server. This is attached here. So if you want to detach here, it can be. So now this is here. Another thing here, what you can do here, like this, very, very important things you need to explore here. These things are very small, but people might ask you. Now, where you need to use the force detach volume here? Why is saying force detach option? Force detach option here. Why you are doing force detach? If your volume is attached with your server, so you are not allowed to detach that. Not allowed to detach that. You have to delete the volume, then you will be able to detach. Force detach means if you want to forcefully detach that volume, suppose you don't want that volume to be there. In this case, you need force detach option to. What you need to do, you need to do force detach option to detach your volume here. Then another thing, what I want from you people, please create a snapshot. I think you people knows how to create a snapshot, right? What you can do, create a snapshot of volume or instance. Now see one more thing here, you can create a snapshot of instance as well here. Very, very good thing here, right? Or either I can create a snapshot of volume. We are discussing our volume, class volume. Which volume? Class volume we created. Snapshot description, end-to-end information. You can write about that. Not mandatory to type. So writing what I am writing this is for class volume. Just writing class volume snap. Creating a snapshot here. What we are doing? We are creating a snapshot of this copy. We are creating a copy here. Pending. Snapshot status is pending here. Now, this is what. Tomorrow, if we lose original one, so what will be there? This will be delete, manage tag, archiving, copy, create image of the snapshot here, create volume of the snapshot here. Then push to the recycle bin. You can check into the recycle bin here. Why we are going to use the recycle bin? Suppose you want to create another archive. Recycle bin. Why will you create this one here? Recycle bin, because if we delete something, means that will go there first. One more security level you are putting for your information data. You are putting that there in the recycle bin. Is for tomorrow, if you delete something, it will go to the recycle bin. So what you can do, you can retrieve that thing here. What I'm doing, I'm deleting the snapshot here. What I'm doing here, I'm deleting the snapshot here. As I'm deleting the snapshot here, like this, I will be able to delete. So this is what we need to understand. Then last and last one is our snowball family. Why we are using snowball family here? Now see what he's saying, large scalable data transport. If you are using for very, very important one, large data transport. But one condition here, what is the condition? Greater than large data migration. Create your own large data migration plan for migration greater than 500 terabyte here. What we have, three things: snow cone, snowball, snow mobile here. Snow cone, snowball, snow mobile here, or snow carrier here. What this will do, cone will transport the data, ball will migrate the data, snow cone will transfer the data where? Into the cone balls, and it will be transferred through this one. If you want to order here, you can order the AWS snowball family here, where example job name, what you want to export, import into. Now where you want to import, now he's asking you to where you, what job type you are looking for, import into Amazon S3, export from Amazon S3. Suppose you want to do a migration from in to out, from S3, export purpose you can use here local computer and storage only. Suppose you have a local computer and you can do what you can do. You can this here. Now what he's saying here now, see, the device provisioning process may take up to 4 weeks before your device is ready to ship. So this we need to understand. You are going to get a downtime of around 1 month. Approximately, you are going to get a downtime of your data for 1 month. You are not allowed to, you will not be able to access your data here otherwise, until and unless you don't have a replication of your data into different places. If you have data replication into different places, archive here, so you need to delete the data after. That is very expensive process as well. So, and another takeaway, what I want to give you people, so you can find, of course, we are understanding here what is the process of creation process here for our this different how we can create different type of storages. What apart from this, what you can understand here, how you can save costing. So please think like this, how you can save money here, how you can save, how you can use low price storage here to save money here. That will be the game changer for your end-to-end environment here. Now last section here. Any question here? If you have any question, you can ask me the question here. But if you're running video, so what I'll do, I'll upload this recording here. Please take a screenshot of this one so you can remember. Means you keep this somewhere accessible here so you can remember this. Otherwise, you'll forget. So this is graphically here. You can understand very easily here. So if you have any question, you can ask me the question here. Mr. TJ, any question, Nandita?
You talked about S3 simple storage, and you talked that there is another part called Glacier, but you didn't explain it.
Okay.
Can you elaborate more about the Glacier?
Glacier is like archive. What we have? Do you know recycle? Not recycle bin will be after deletion actually. Archive. What Glacier is like a archive here. What Glacier is like a archive here. Archive here means archive storage in the cloud here. Archive means you are going to, you understood what archive is, right? So like this. So what it will be do? It will save the data now. See, we recommended that Glacier storage in Amazon S3 for the archival storage here. What you can do, you can create the archive for your, what you can do, you can create the archive for your storage here. Here, where into this region it will be generated. But how? Vault will be generated here. Within the vault, your archive will be generated here. Something like this. If you are deleting something, right? If we are deleting something here, means that will be pushed to the where? Archive. But here archive will be generated here automatically. Archive will be generated because of this S3 archive here. Because of this S3 here, what it will be? So this will become budget storage. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating, this is for the class vault here. What I'm creating a class vault here. If I'm creating a class vault here, so I will be able to see something like this. Now see, class vault I created here with this name here. If I'll go here, this is my vault property here. Vault property here means what archive will be generated within this vault here. What this archive will be generated within this bucket here, vault here, like this. But one more thing here. So this will be, now what will be there? Now this, from this vault ARN, what we can do, we can define the access policy for end user. What, how we are going to change that things for the end user here. Yeah, before this was a separate part. Please understand, this was a separate part here. Now this is not a separate part. Amazon S3 Glacier security available now. So go to the S3 now. Backup for the archive. Now see what you are going to do. You are going to create the backup archive data using S3 Glacier storage class here. Go to the S3. So what we did here just now, we created the archive bucket here, right? A vault here, right? So now I don't have a bucket here. Now if I have a bucket here, that bucket I can archive into my where? Azure Vault. Tomorrow if I need, means I'll go to the vault, I'll take from the vault here. So this is use case of using Amazon S3 archiving here. But here usually we no need this thing here. S3 itself is providing this thing here. But of course, if you're looking for very huge amount of data, in this case we are going to use this thing here. What will be the game changer here? You need to understand. Of course, you need to understand about the S3 here. But your prime focus, I'm giving you customization a little bit. Your prime focus will be either on S3 or either on EBS, Elastic Block Storage. We are going to use this, but not quite frequently. This is going to use if you are working in a networking. Suppose you are working in a networking. In this case, you are going to use this because your data file of your that network NF. So your file system will be generated here. Of course, this is for migration. If you are a migration engineer, then you will have idea about this thing. If you're working under migration of data, then you will work under this one. But if you're working on application side, you will work on this side. If you're working on static web application or some web application deployment, in this case you'll use this thing here. Any other question, Mr. TJ or Mr. Andita or Mr. Jack Daniel?
No question for me.
Yeah, no, Mr. TJ, weekend is right. That's why thinking about Jack Daniel.
Yeah.
I said Daniel and Jack all
Uh,
together.
I like that, Jack Daniel.
Yeah, you can get from the car. I can get from the airport, duty free.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I have no questions, Kuma. Thank you. I'll think about it. If I have any questions, I might come back to you before
And
our next class or before we start the next class. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So another thing here, what I want you people to just listen this. What technical way I'm talking. See, one more thing. During my teaching journey here, what I felt. Now, see, you people are reading this, right? If you're reading this thing, it means what you are doing. You are understanding the concept in your own way. But if you're listening, means you are listening the concept in my way. I'm delivering, I'm talking in a technical manner. Because see, what you are listening now, what you are seeing in front of you, only 10 to 5 liner. But what I'm saying here, I'm talking of hundreds of lines. So your technical concept will build by listening. So you need to listen the recording. If you listen the recording means your presentation skill will build. So the way I'm presenting in front of you people, you need to present this knowledge in front of other people. So build a habit of doing that. So that will be helpful. Of course, there is a two object here. Now see two objective here. What is the two objective? One objective of one human being individual is to. So it means what one person is doing. He is doing, he's understanding the concept here. Of course, he's understanding, okay, this is object type of storage. Understanding. But you have to deliver this content, whatever you understood, you have to deliver this content to the end user. How? Through the technical manner. The way I'm talking, you no need to be that good. Means you no need to be that 100% there. It can be any type of accent until and unless this is understandable to other person. So this is what. So you no need to change that English, whatever the English you are using, that is okay. But you should talk technically. If you are talking technically here means then only this person will understand. During my journey, I am understanding one thing here, what I'm doing. I'm talking to the people. Of course, I'm teaching to the people. Of course, I know this person knows about this concept, but is not able to deliver that content technically. So means there will be lag here. So please build a habit of talking technically about the concept. It will be very, very helpful for you people. Okay, guys, I'm dropping the session. I'll upload this recording here so we can go to this recording.
Thank you.
Thank you.